Hello and welcome to Nerd Subculture. My name is Jarrod.
And I'm Edwina.
And you're listening to You're Watching This Again movie podcast. Today, Eddie, we're doing Police Academy Mission to Moscow. Oh my God.
Police Academy 7.
7. Mission to Moscow.
Mission to Moscow.
This film was released in 1994. It stars George Gaines, Michael Winslow, David Graff, Leslie Easterbrook, George W. Bailey, Christopher Lee, Ron Perlman, Claire Floroni, and Charlie Schlatter. Eddie.
Warning, this is a full spoiler podcast. If you haven't seen the movie, please come
Good
back
luck
when
to
you
you.
have. We're discussing our favourite movies. This is definitely not one of them that we have seen way too many times. I think even seeing this once is way too many times. And why we love them. Jarrod has picked this week's movie, and this one is truly.
I see what you're doing. Pin that straight on me. Jarrod picked this movie. I have nothing to do with it.
I will have nothing to do with this movie.
I'm a stickler for finishing things. So we started with the Police Academy films, 1 to 6. Guess you better do all of them. Oh, God, Eddie, this is awful. This was just awful, this film. I don't know.
I think you can barely even call this a movie.
I mean, I don't know about you, Eddie, but when I first watched this, I thought it was garbage, and my opinion has not changed on that. It was awful then. It's awful now. Can we just wrap this up?
Well, you know what? This movie is so bad, but it's not like a so bad it's good kind of a bad.
No.
It's just bad. Like
it's embarrassing. You feel
some of the scenes just left me scratching my head. Like I was like, what the hell was that?
Then there were lots of those, weren't there?
Yeah. The narrative also makes absolutely no sense, and that's the least of its problems. And my memory I don't really have much memory of seeing this movie when it came out.
Yeah, I remember a few scenes, but
and it was like, and it was to the point where I'm like, maybe I haven't actually seen this one. But then I was like, my dad really loved these movies, so I'm pretty sure he would have gotten it at some stage and we would have watched it.
Yeah.
But I could hardly remember this movie.
No.
I think I just remember the sewer scene.
Yeah.
And that was about it.
I think I remember the scene at the end credit scene, and we'll talk about that later.
Oh,
and Leslie Easterbrook in lingerie. I remember that one. I definitely remember that one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, look, let's just get a quick summary out the way, and let's just plow through this, Eddie. Here we go. Russian mafia boss Konstantin Konali is laundering money under the guise of a legitimate business. A highly addictive video game that allows him to bring down almost any security system controlled by a computer on which the game has been played, with a string of major robberies as the result. Desperate to apprehend Konali, Russian Commandant Rakov sends help from America. Rakov decides to bring in someone he met at a police convention, Commandant Eric Lassard. Lassard briefs his team about the mission in Russia, and they head to Moscow. Along with Lassard in Moscow are Jones, Tackleberry, Callahan, new cadet Kyle Connors, and Captain Harris. As they plan to capture Konali, he has devised a new scheme to create an even more addictive version of the game, which can bring down any computer security system in the world, including the systems that protect the databases which belong to the world powers. The gang eventually track down Konali, and with the help of Lassard's sword fighting skills, arrest him. The film ends with a kiss between Lassard and Commandant Rakov.
And that's where it should have actually ended. But
that's where it should have ended. But no, we gotta have a horse riding scene.
There's this weird horse riding scene at the end that does some blackface.
On the stunt double for Jones, yeah.
Yeah, and they're doing that sort of Russian. I don't even know what you call it.
It's like the stunt horse stuff where they like jump off the horse while it's running.
Where the horses are galloping and they're doing all these acrobatics on the horses.
Yeah. Clearly not the actors.
And it's very clearly not the actors, and it's completely pointless, and you didn't need it in the movie.
Didn't need it.
At all. At all.
Yeah.
So the last movie wasn't great.
No.
But it had a few good things going for it.
Yeah, and it was at least enjoyable.
Yes, and it was actually entertaining.
Yeah.
I got prepared for doing this podcast extremely quickly because I was terrified that I was going to have to rewatch this movie, which we've had to do a couple of times.
Look, sometimes I do rewatch it because you miss things, and I don't have a problem with that. But this one, I really did not want to rewatch it. I lost 122 minutes of my life already watching this.
Yeah.
I'm not spending any more time on it. Even this podcast, I'm questioning the means, the reasons of doing this. It's just, I actually kind of felt violated after watching this. Like I just felt dirty.
Yeah. You know what? It's almost like they forgot how to write jokes. And they just reverted to this gross out comedy, like this gross out humor.
Yeah.
And getting hit in the nuts. Like, I swear that's all they do. Like that was the joke. Like they made the same getting hit in the nuts joke. Exactly. They make that same joke over and over and over again. And that's also the problem. Absolutely none of the jokes are funny. They don't even lean into, those stereotypical jokes that they've been doing for every movie so far.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Tackleberry's gun's going off in his holster, as if that would happen to Tackleberry.
I have an answer for that, and I suspect this film might have suffered from a post-production corrections.
Oh, really?
I really feel like a lot of these things were put in after the film was shot.
Oh, yeah.
Because that gunshot was not there. Like, Tackleberry doesn't react at all to a gunshot going off. When he puts his gun in his holster, he doesn't react. So I'm certain that gunshot was put in after.
Yeah, there was some weird stuff going on with the sound because there were actual cartoon noises.
Yes.
Like, what do you call, when they do that running on the spot?
Oh, yeah, the Scooby-Doo running.
Scooby-Doo running on the spot. That's in there.
Yeah.
I think Ron Perlman at one stage actually growls like it does, like a lion, like a lion's growl comes out of his mouth.
Well, then there was a fart in there as well, which seemed like that was put in post-production. The sounds of those 3 Russian soldiers as well.
I don't know.
They turned them into the 3 Stooges or something.
Yeah, it was really, really weird.
It almost seemed insulting because I just think they probably thought they're going to be portrayed like that. And they probably watched the film and gone, because I think they were professional acrobats.
Oh, yeah. So there's no pranks.
No pranks, no.
There's hardly any stunts.
No stunts, yeah.
Unless you classify the acrobats.
Yeah.
So I think they got real Russian acrobats.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably one of the few things that's actually good in this movie.
I'd say, yeah.
To do all of these so-called stunts, but they're actually just doing their acrobats. They're acrobatic.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Or was it a scene where they open the door and they're bouncing in the room, like painting the room?
That made no sense.
What?
Like I was sitting there going, what is that?
Why are they doing that?
Like, it was almost like this weird but they looked like they were meant to be painting the room.
But they were just like bouncing on springboards and just doing weird shit. And there were some jokes that just kept on going on and on. The bloody Lassard not in his room joke.
Yeah.
And the guy calling out in Russian, not even hiding his accent. I meet you later.
Yeah.
Clearly not him. And they did that joke so many times, again and again. And it wasn't funny the first time. It wasn't funny the second time. And it just kept on going on and on. And, horrible.
Yeah.
And another honourable bad joke. We got a few of them, I think. The egg ping pong joke. And it just went on and on.
Yeah.
Like,
what? The other thing is they don't even use Jonesy is normally like the best part of these movies, and they hardly use him.
It's almost like they forgot what the characters actually do.
Yeah.
And so, like, Tackleberry firing his gun off. Like, the guy was an absolute gun nut.
That would just never happen to him.
I want to illustrate of how much of a gun nut he was. In the first film, and I think I mentioned this when... I can't remember the character's name, the fat guy. He's got the pump action shotgun. and he's firing it off in different directions, and he waves it over the crowd, and everyone in the crowd ducks, except for Tackleberry, because the guy hadn't cocked it.
Yeah.
And that really just showed in that scene that how much he knows guns and wasn't worried.
Yeah.
And then now he's firing his gun, discharging his gun accidentally like that.
Into his holster.
Just completely...
The guy who also, there's a scene in, is it the second movie, where he's, removing... he removes all the guns on his body. Yeah. And there's this huge pile of guns.
Oh, when they're about to have sex and they're taking all the guns out.
They're taking all their guns off. And the joke is that there's this massive pile. That guy is not accidentally firing his gun off in his holster.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as I said, they don't use Jonesy. There's one scene, and the way that the jokes work with Jonesy is that people don't know that Jonesy's making the noise. And in this, he does the chalk noise under the board, and they know straight away it's him.
Yeah.
And he throws the chalk dust at him straight away. There's no, where he thinks it's him and, sort of getting embarrassed by it. And
well, I suppose it's not too bad, I guess.
That's
it's a little
the joke. That's how the joke works. And then the other thing that he does, he makes a martini, the guy orders a martini, and he makes it in his mouth and then spits it into a glass. And it's disgusting.
Yeah. It's not funny.
It's not funny.
Yeah.
I was just
gross.
That's just really gross. I don't want to see that.
See, something that might have happened with that, because Hightower was actually meant to be in this film.
Oh, yeah.
And he declined because Maria Ramsey, the girl who plays Hooks, also wanted to be in the film and was upset. And so he contacted the producers, said, can you get her in the film? They said no. So then he refused to be in it. Also, similar to the first film when he stood up for her when the guy used a racial slur on her. So he refused to do the film. But the scenes that he was in were actually redone with different characters. So there was a scene where Tackleberry checks on Lassard in the hotel room and sticks his head through the wall. That was meant to be Hightower. Callahan walking around with a plank of wood and knocking everyone over. If you remember that scene when
I don't really remember that.
That was him. The Swan Lake episode, the sequence that just went on forever. He was meant to be in the tutu.
Oh, I don't think that would have worked.
I don't know if that would have worked.
Actually, that entire joke doesn't work at all.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
Jonesy opening the safe. Now, just making clicking sound at a safe makes it open. So I think in the original script, he was just meant to shove his fist through it and open it.
Yeah.
So instead, Jonesy just goes up and communicates, I think, with the safe to make it open, alluding to your theory that Jonesy has superhuman powers.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
But that was just... You're looking at that, and why is that funny?
I looked at that scene and went, why? How?
What?
How? Why? What? And the other thing that happens, again, an out of character thing that happens, is Callahan gets kidnapped. And I'm like, no, that just would never happen.
No, yeah.
By like
she's not the damsel in distress.
She's not. Yeah, she is not the damsel in distress. Exactly. That is not her character. She is the one that you might attempt to kidnap, and she beats the fucking crap out of you.
Yeah, that's Callahan.
That's Callahan.
Yeah. She kidnaps you.
You go to kidnap her, and she holds you hostage. That's Callahan. And it just doesn't work. Another thing is we get the new generic lead.
Oh, yes.
Who is actually a cadet and is at the police academy. I think this is the first time we've seen the police academy.
Yes and no. They reused the outside footage from Police Academy 5.
Oh, okay.
So, although they're in the police academy, they don't use the set anymore.
For a movie that's called Police Academy, the police academy is actually hardly in any of the movies.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the last three, that's virtually not in there at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the story with him is that he has he's getting kicked out for having vertigo, but that's not what vertigo is. Like, it's just that he's scared of heights.
Yeah.
Vertigo is actually like an actual illness that people suffer from and can be extremely debilitating, but it's not permanent.
No, yeah.
Or, well, in some cases it can be, but generally it's not a permanent thing. So he's meant to be scared of heights, but then in the first scene that you see him, he's like jumping up on a table and then like backflipping off it. And I'm like, someone who is scared of heights wouldn't, like, that's a maneuver you have to practice. Like, that's not something.
Are you saying he didn't do those moves, Eddie?
No, I'm saying that if
conspiracy theory here.
If you're scared of heights, that's not something you're going to be doing, is climbing up onto a high thing and flipping off it. Yeah, it made no sense. And then he was getting kicked out because of that. And then he does that thing on he hacks into the computer. And changes one of the other cadets' name to his name, because we're back in. I think it was in the day when computers could do anything.
Yeah, well, we'll get back to that.
Yeah.
I want to talk about computers in a sec. But yeah, Charlie Schlatter. So I remember him in the movie. Eddie, do you remember him in the movie?
I do remember him in a movie.
The Delinquents. Kylie Minogue. Our Kylie Minogue's theatrical debut film. When she runs off with a man and then gets sent to a boarding school for slutty girls. I remember that film.
Oh, I remember it too.
And I remember going to Warner Brothers Movie World and doing the backlot tour and them showing us, pointing out the mound of where the classic Aussie film Delinquents was filmed with Kylie Minogue, where she kissed a guy on some mound near a pond or something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
And everyone's like, okay. Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So his character was there to replace Nick Lassard, who was there to replace Kerry Mahoney. Now, when I first saw the poster for this film, I actually thought it was Nick.
Oh, yeah.
And if you look at it,
they're very
they
similar.
look very
they're
similar.
Very, very similar.
I thought it
looking.
was him, so I was a little surprised to realise that, he's not even he's in the film. The replacement guy you got from the last movie doesn't want to do this movie. Ooh, shit.
Yeah. But what we should talk about is the fact that there are some actually high caliber actors in this. Like Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee. This was a favour, this film.
Ron Perlman.
And Ron Perlman, yeah.
And Claire Fontaine.
Yeah.
So at the time, so at the time, she was an it girl. Like, she was in Mallrats, I think.
Just before Mallrats, I think. This is 94, so I think they came out like 96, 97. So
it was before that.
I think this is just before Mallrats.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was kind of an it girl. That's what I mean. There was something else that she was in. I think some Brad Pitt movie as well.
Legends of the Fall.
Yeah, I can't remember. One of those. I think. Meet Joe Black, maybe.
That came out a lot later, didn't it? I did see one there. I can't remember. But speaking of Ron Perlman, I got a quote from him. Mm-hmm. Considering his work on this movie a public service by shutting down the Police Academy movies, Perlman said, "I'm not going to apologise. I did that piece of shit." And I can hear that in his voice.
Yeah. Why don't you take a walk outside?
What is it? And it paid for his new house or something?
No. Oh, no. Because speaking of high caliber actors in a really, really shitty film, another quote from Michael Caine, an acclaimed actor who starred in the absolute piece of shit film Jaws: The Revenge, which I would actually recommend watching. It's so good it's bad.
It's so good it's bad.
It is actually enjoyable. And so his quote is that he never saw the film, but he's seen the house that he bought the money with.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
And I'm not sure how much Christopher Lee got for this. Probably not enough. But speaking of money, the budget for this film, Eddie, $6,200,000.
No fucking way.
Yeah. And
where did they spend that?
Well, probably, I don't know, transferring everyone over and advertising, I guess.
In all honesty, like when you told me that it was actually filmed in Moscow or like filmed in Russia.
Oh, yeah, 2 months they spent filming there. Yeah.
I was shocked.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it, you didn't need to
Well,
film
the
in
outside
Russia.
shots definitely were. That actually didn't look too bad. Like a red square there and St. Peter's in the background. But yeah. But the film only grossed 126,000 of the 6 million as well. So, yeah,
Wow,
that is a huge loss.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Did it even go to the cinemas?
Well, that's a funny thing. It was released. It was originally intended to be a direct-to-video release, and I actually remember being overseas at the time, and I think I was like in Brighton somewhere in England, and seeing a poster for it and going, "Oh wow, Police Academy film." It's been like 5 years since the last one, and we didn't have time to watch it then, so I thought, "Oh, I'll watch it in the cinemas when I get back." And by the time I got back to Australia, it was already out on video. I'm like, "Ooh, okay,
Yeah.
that can't be good." And yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't.
All right. Yes. So back in 1994.
So yeah, back to you mentioned about computers before. So in the 90s and 80s, computers were around, but people didn't really know what they did or how they could be used.
Yeah.
But they seemed so futuristic that they could do anything.
The main thing that they thought that they did was control the stock market.
Yes, and fire off missiles.
Yeah. If you've ever seen the movie, what's it called, Electric Dreams?
Uh-huh.
And in that, so that's set in the 80s. One of those movies where probably the song for the movie is probably more remembered.
We'll always be together, together in electric dreams.
And that computer could do everything. It could make you coffee in the morning. It could make you breakfast. It played music. It controlled all the locks on your doors. Like it woke you up in the morning. Mm-hmm. Okay, kind of what Alexa can do.
Yeah. It was getting there. It's only 30 years behind, but yeah, you got the idea.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, and that movie, the computer actually comes alive, and it's like, yeah, it falls in love with the neighbor.
Mm-hmm. Becomes sentient.
Yeah, becomes sentient. And that's pretty, I haven't seen it for a long time. I just remember it's a computer that can do everything and it comes alive.
Yeah. So in this film, we have the game.
Yeah.
So, and really, from the opening shot of this film, I really felt like something was off. So with all the other films, when they started off, you had the city skyline and that. And this one, you open up with this text sliding across the screen. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and it normally starts off, it's a skit at the start where it's normally a night scene. It's normally someone sneaking around somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
It's sort of some sort of crime going on. Mm-hmm.
But this one starts with a news anchor, and one of them's playing a Game Boy with no cartridge in it.
No cartridge. Yeah, that's like the first thing we both noticed is there's no cartridge in that game.
No cartridge in the Game Boy, and he's like absolutely loving this game.
And also, who the hell plays a video game while they're working live on TV?
And again, another signal that, something is seriously wrong here. And again, this scene goes on forever. It's not funny. And she tries to take the game off while he's playing it. So the whole premise of this movie is people are getting addicted to video games. But it never really goes back to that, does it? It mentions it and shows it at the start, but it doesn't really show, apart from maybe another character play, Christopher Lee was playing it.
Yeah.
But it never really shows like the impact of this game.
Yeah.
It's constantly mentioned, and when they show the actual video game, it's like on a PC, full color.
Yeah.
And somehow this game was going to take over the world. A portable game, by the way. It wasn't a game on a PC. So how the hell was a portable game going to hack into other systems with no connection to them whatsoever?
Yeah.
And that is just never explained.
I thought it was another, like a version of the game that you could play on the computer.
Well, they never showed that. He said he was making a new version, but it just seemed like it was just part 2 of the game in the game.
Okay.
I don't know. It
didn't make any sense.
It does, yeah.
Like a lot of things in this
movie. But computers, they do everything. Even portable games can hack into government systems and bring them down and control the stock market. An absolute ridiculous premise.
Yes. And then the password.
Okay, so the password. They're trying to hack into his thing.
What is
Let's try his first name.
That they have like.
Hang on, let's try his second name.
Well, the good thing is that they got it in 3 goes.
We only get 3 goes. That's right. So they tried his first name.
That was the other thing. They didn't even have, like, I don't even think that kind of, you've got 3 tries and then you're locked out, even existed then.
And making this ugly noise when you get it wrong as well.
But nothing else. But it doesn't lock you out or anything.
So his first name didn't work. His second name didn't work. What else could it be? What about that chain he hangs around his neck?
That says,
it says greed. Surely you don't carry around your password around your neck. And it worked. Oh, my God. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's some magical key.
Yeah, that was the key they needed to get to hack the game.
Yeah. Or hack into the...
Yeah, which they were using Donkey Kong music over a, obviously coloured PC game of a bear punching people.
Yeah, it was...
Made by people who just completely don't understand video games or computers or how they work. So, yeah, that's got to work.
Yeah.
At least when the next time Christopher Lee was playing it, they did bother to put a game cartridge in.
Yes, yes. Another thing missing is that Harris didn't have his snivelling sidekick.
Proctor was missing, yes.
I kind of missed him.
I did.
I think he needed to be, like, Harris needs his snivelling sidekick.
Yeah, he needs his Smithers. He needs his guy there to rebound off with their practical jokes and shenanigans.
And they decide to make Harris the
surveillance guy, which he's never been before. You know?
And even but the thing is, when they're in the police station, he's spying on them and doing this surveillance, and they find him pretty quickly. Yeah,
in a really dumb way as well, pulling him through the wall.
Yeah. And they trip over the wire. He's just left wires all over the place.
And why was he even spying? Like, he seems like, why wouldn't he be a part of it anyway?
Oh, I think he was just testing out the equipment.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because then Lassard is like, Harris is our, new surveillance, head surveillance.
Head of surveillance, yeah. New job. Just rewrite his character. Why not? Yeah.
Yeah. And that scene in the sewer, he gets pissed on. Was
it goulash? No. What's that?
What
do you call
borscht.
it? Borscht. Yeah.
I don't even know if it was borscht, but it was like tomatoes and chickpeas. That's all it looked like. But Lassard kept smelling it and being like, "Oh, this is off,"
and just tipped it out in the sink in front of other people. Oh, let's talk about Lassard in this.
Oh, okay.
So Lassard was pretty much written out of the whole film. Well, not that whole film, but the whole story. He had this whole side plot of him getting in the wrong car and spending pretty much most of the film with this random Russian family where they take him out to dinner and play egg pong.
Yeah.
And that, again...
And he's at a funeral. He's at a funeral.
He starts at a funeral. That's right.
He starts at a funeral. That's the whole thing. He goes to this funeral and then, like, the family's, like, starts... I don't know. They just kind of accept him. Yeah.
I did like that joke I do remember that joke when I first watched the film years ago, and I thought that was kind of funny. And maybe I got a little from this time, but again, it just went on and just didn't stop and just kept going around and then the egg pong and my head's hurting. I'm whopping my head.
It lost me at the egg pong. Like I was fine with it until they started playing the egg pong.
Yeah.
It was obviously them spitting the egg out and then them reversing the footage.
Yeah, it was so cheaply done. Yeah. All right, let's never ever mention the egg pong again, all right? From this point on. Other things to mention, it was the first American comedy movie to be filmed in Russia. I mean, the Russian scenes, like with the backdrop, did look interesting. I did find that kind of cool that they actually filmed this in Russia, and it did seem like it was a bit of a challenge logistically to film in Russia. Apparently there was a actual coup, attempted coup on Boris Yeltsin while they were filming that they had to lock down at one stage. So, yeah, it was challenging. So I'll give him credit for that, for trying. And I think the director washed his hands of the film. I think when he saw the final product and, as I said, the post-production sort of edits that they did to it and just made it a completely goofball and incoherent film. It's just such a shame, really. I don't know what it would have been had they not done that stuff. Would it have saved it? I don't think so. The story is still just ridiculous. Again, all the little ADR noises, a little and voiceovers. Like there were scenes where Harris is talking in the sewer and his lips are clearly not moving.
Yeah.
Like weird things like that. And it's like, why? Why would you do that?
There was a lot of, why?
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 So we can't just come in here and just poo-poo all over this movie.
Yeah.
Can you name, like, can we just think about
Say something positive?
Say something positive,
All
one
right.
positive thing. What was something good in this movie?
Something good to take away from this
Yeah,
film. All
yeah.
right. Well, what could like I was saying before, the Russian backdrop scenes looked like they were done quite well, and I thought they really did take advantage of the location they were at, and then almost Russia was its own, or Moscow, I should say, was its own little character in some way, but in the background. So like New York in the Vampire's Kiss film, almost a character in the background. And I thought when they used it well, it looked good. And I won't go past Leslie Easterbrook in lingerie.
Hello, cutie pie.
So what about you, Eddie? What's something positive you can take away from this film?
Callahan has a really, that actress Leslie Easterbrook has a really lovely voice.
And she got to show it off, yeah.
And she got to show it off, and then it got ruined because were they on a boat or something?
Well, they were on a boat, and I think a boat went past and caused some waves and knocked her off the piano, but no one else moved.
Yeah, and she went vagina first into the piano, the
pianist.
The pianist playing the piano
Vagina
player.
first into the pianist, yes.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Another terrible joke.
Another terrible joke.
Add that to the list, huh?
Yeah.
So, Leslie Easterbrook, yeah, look, it was having a smaller cast felt it did allow some of the characters a bit more screen time, but it was just squandered in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And the awful ballet scene as well. And that again just went on for way too long.
Yeah.
Harris couldn't get into the ballet to arrest the guy, so he decided to sneak in the back and dress as a ballet dancer.
Yeah, but then it doesn't understand but I don't understand why Tackleberry was all dressed up as well.
Because he had to try and get him off and try and hide in disguise as the Black Swan guy or something.
Okay.
I
don't know. I thought I'd missed a scene.
No,
Did
maybe.
I miss a scene?
I don't think so.
I was honestly sitting there going, what just happened? Why is he on stage? Well, I was like, what's going on? Did I fall asleep for 3 seconds, with my eyes open and something? I was sitting, it had me baffled because I was like, that makes. How did that happen?
Yeah, again, wasn't funny. Went for way too long. I think that just sums up this film.
Yeah, but a man in a tutu, always funny apparently.
And got time to put his
Man in
makeup on.
tutus.
Yeah,
and he had.
Would have been funnier as Hightower in that tutu.
No.
No.
To be honest, it wasn't funny at all.
It wasn't funny at all. Yeah, as I said, not funny. Went too long.
Yeah.
Like this podcast is, I think, at the moment. Do you want to get into question time, Eddie?
Yes,
I think
please.
yeah.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
All right, Eddie. I'm the questionnaire tonight.
Yes, you are the questionnaire.
All right, let's not F this up. Which character was your favourite, Eddie?
Well, I'm just going to go with Callahan because
Callahan?
she probably is the only one that gets something to actually do in this.
Yeah. I did like Claire Florani's
Yeah, again,
character. She was a generic love interest.
She is generic love interest number 7 or whatever.
I think I got the hots for her too. She looks pretty hot with glasses. Next question, Eddie. Favorite scene? All right, I'll answer this first.
Hang on, I'll go with probably just the scene when they're in the circus.
The circus, that's what I said.
With the guys on the acrobats.
Yeah.
But again, they make a stupid nuts. Like the guy slips and whacks his nuts on the pole.
And
thing.
the ballet scene actually wasn't too bad until the Harris crashed it. Like, it was actually done really well. It was like, well, professional ballet. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I like ballet, That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next question, Eddie. Favorite prank? Don't have one. I didn't have one.
There weren't any pranks.
No. Again, forgetting its identity. It was all about the pranks and stuff, but none of that in this film, unfortunately.
I was the same. I was like, maybe when they pulled Harris through the wall, but again, it wasn't really a prank.
That was set up. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's probably the closest thing you could say. So, all right, we'll say the Harris being pulled through the wall is the best prank.
Yeah,
only prank.
So with the pranks, it doesn't work because the character of Connor actually sucks up to Harris. He doesn't really have anything against him.
Yeah. There's always a conflict between the main character and Harris to set up the pranks, where he will punish him for insubordination, and then he'll glue something to something. And that's usually how it goes. Yeah.
But the Connor guy kind of he kind of sucks up to him a little bit.
Yeah.
And to the point where Harris is kind of a bit taken aback. Like he's like, I'm keeping my eye on you, and the guy like pretty much leaves him, he leaves him alone. Yeah, so it's that dynamic, but also the introducing the new characters that they seem to do every sort of movie, and then having to build that character, basically start from scratch on that character. So there was really nothing to do with that character. He was a young go-lucky guy who wants to get the girl. But that was it. No pranks, nothing. Yeah. He wasn't out to humiliate his superiors. No, he respected his superiors. Yes. Yeah, I think that's the thing. He had a bit of respect for both, all of them, really, like Lassard and Harris. He was, respectful quite to him, which is very, very weird in a police academy movie. Anyone is respectful to Harris. Yeah, exactly. Okay, next question, Eddie. Best stunt? Again, no stunts. The circus I went. I went with the circus. Yeah. You could put the one at the end, but I'm not actually going to even count the stuff on the horses because it's just pointless. Yeah. It was they literally put that in the movie because they were in Russia. Yeah. And it seemed like all the actors were like behind a white screen when they did it. I'm not going to go into it. Okay, Eddie, who gets the wooden spoon? I give the wooden spoon to the high caliber actors that were convinced to do this movie. Right, okay. Yeah. I just gave it to the movie. It fucking sucks. All right. Who gets the Oscar, Eddie? I'm going to say absolutely no one gets the Oscar for this. They get a Razzie. They all get a Razzie. The whole movie gets a Razzie. I gave the Oscar to Moscow. She did her job. Yeah. And Mother Moscow. To be fair, the acting in this isn't actually that bad. No, they're just, but it's the writing. But it's all sort of completely undone with the stupid noises and whips and squeaky noises. So all the stuff that the actors have absolutely no control over. Yeah, it's all completely undone. So look, the actors did the best that they could do with the pile of shit of a script and the editing that they were given. So yeah, look, they did their job, but they got no control over that. So, and I actually was watching a bit of behind the scenes footage, and Lisa Easterbrook, she seemed so enthusiastic about the film and talking to some of the locals and some of the kids had seen it. She's they're so happy to see us here and stuff like that, and and watching them all like having a bit of fun. You're like, oh god, such a waste. Yeah. Okay, Eddie, final question. What do you rate this movie out of 10 using something from the movie? I give it 1 out of 10 gross mouth-made martinis. Ooh, yeah. I gave it 0 pieces of shit because this movie is a piece of shit. A little bit harsh. Yeah. I couldn't give it a 1. It doesn't deserve a 1. 0 on Rotten Tomatoes. It's
2 or something on IMDb, and I think that's given it. It's been lenient. Now this was a real. I know we started with the Police Academy movies originally, so I said we'll do them all, but I'm just glad this one's over with. And I was kind of dreading this one. I was like, I know this one is bad, and it's as bad as I thought, and possibly even worse. So that is it for the Police Academy films. I know there are murmurs of making another one, and you know what? Just don't. I think
I think they're going to do it like I did see they were doing it with
don't say Jordan Peele.
Yeah.
No, that was years ago. That's been scrapped.
It's been
yeah,
scrapped.
no, there's been murmurs and talks. I've seen Michael Windsor in several interviews saying, I think they're going to make one. And he's pretty enthusiastic. I think even Steven Guttenberg showed some interest in a possible remake. But of late, Eddie, of 2022, we've seen these sequels come out of films way long after they've been made, and I'm thinking like Matrix, and I'm thinking like Bill and Ted. I don't want to keep ripping on Keanu.
No way.
Dumb and Dumber 2 or whatever it was called. Like just these sequels that come out far too long after the film, and it's done. We've got Indiana Jones coming out soon. Another one. You know, just let it go. I think this film doesn't fit today. You know, this type of movie. I don't know.
Well, they don't make movies like this
They don't make them like this anymore. Maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. It just doesn't, you know.
Or to be fair, they don't really make comedies anymore.
Yeah. I mean, we've spoken about this before. The Jordan Peele one did pique my interest a little bit of what he could do. But again, it's gone through lots of stuff. And then, I don't know, one day I might just decide to make it. Who knows? It'll just come out maybe straight to Netflix or something. They'll do, you know.
Yeah.
It would be nice reunion of seeing all the actors together. If they could sort of do that, I would not mind seeing that. You know, get all the cast. You know, Bobcat Goldthwait, although he doesn't do that character anymore. So, yeah. So I'm not sure what would happen with that. But you know, the ones who are still with us, you know, it might be the last chance to sort of reunite some of the cast. Fortunately, some of them have passed on. So yeah, but otherwise, I think. Just let it go.
Yeah.
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 I wouldn't lose any sleep if they decided not to make another Police Academy movie.
Yeah.
I think it's well past its use by date.
Oh yeah. Now,
Eddie, what?
Moving forward.
I hate it when people say that. I really do.
Let's just come back around.
That's patronising. Moving forward, don't fuck up next time. That's what I always feel like when people say that. Moving forward.
Yeah. So
yes,
I've
Eddie,
got.
sorry. What have you got there, Eddie? What's that?
I've got a list of movies
Have
that
you
we can
now?
do that I've chopped up and I've put in a cup. And
It's a popcorn cup. You sacrificed a popcorn cup for this podcast, Eddie. How dare you?
Well, I can always move it into something else.
It's a SeaWorld one too.
Oh, it is too. Now.
What are we going to do with that?
Well, I figure we pick the next movie we're going to do.
Okay, so is this with our movie podcast? This is what we're going to do. After every movie podcast, we're going to pick a movie out of a hat of films that we've watched and loved and would like to review.
And let's just say some of these are not super high caliber. Some of them are.
Maybe some are a bit snooty, some are a bit lowbrow, some are in the middle. Some are blockbusters.
Some of them are just movies we like to put on when you're hungover or if you're sick.
Yes.
They're comfort movies. They're not really your brain doesn't want to hurt when you watch them.
No.
Type movies.
No hurt brain.
No hurt brain.
Brain hurt bad.
Brain needs something comforting and familiar.
All right. So am I going to pick it out or?
I reckon. Yeah, you do the honors.
Oh, Eddie.
Hang on, gotta do that.
Shake it up, shake it up.
Shake it up.
Oh, one fell out.
Oh,
is that it? No. Is that it? No. All right. Okay. All right. I've
you're
got
not
it in my
allowed to
hand.
look
I'm not
through-
looking. I'm
you-
not looking.
And this, you gotta do it.
Oh, which one is it? Drum roll. And we've got X-Men 1 and 2 plus Days of Future Past.
Okay, so that's 3 movies.
3 movies. Oh, a 3-peat straight away. So we
Yeah.
did put some sequels together that if we did mention a movie that was a franchise, we would do them all. Although we're not going to do all the Marvel ones at once. We'll do them individually. But we got X-Men 1 and 2 plus Days of Future Past.
Because they're the only ones that matter.
They're the only ones that matter. So we're skipping Last Stand and whatever the other ones are. So, all right, that's cool. I'm happy with that.
All right.
X-Men 1.
Yeah.
Isn't your boyfriend in that?
Yeah.
It's my boyfriend too. He's our boyfriend.
Yeah.
Our mate Hugh. Yeah. I look forward to that one. It's going to be a little better than Police Academy 7.
It's going to be better than Police Academy 7.
Such a turnaround. I know.
All right.
All right, Eddie's, anything you wanted to add?
Well, I was going to ask, what do you think was the best Police Academy movie?
Oh, the best one. I would... 2. I think number 2 was the best. I think Bobcat in that film, his scenes are just hilarious. And definitely number 2.
I actually really like 3.
Oh, really?
For the same reason, but it's because it's him and the girlfriend.
Oh, that was 4.
Is that 4?
That was 4.
Oh, okay. I'm
Okay,
confused
4.
now. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And you like the ninjas too, do you?
They were a funny addition.
Ninjas. The ninjas escaped, sir. What?
See, at least that kind of ridiculous was funny.
Yeah. It was, yeah. Yeah, it was. Oh, God. All right. I don't want to think about this movie ever again, Eddie. Goodbye, Police Academy 7. Goodbye, Police Academy series. It was good to rewatch you again. Maybe we'll come back.
Oh, hang on. I forgot to mention. Do you know the reason behind the name Mission to Moscow?
I don't want to know. Go on.
It was a movie from I think it was in the 50s.
I did see that. Yeah, there was a movie called Mission to Moscow.
Mission to Moscow, yeah. And it was about an ambassador going there to try to infiltrate and bring back secrets.
Okay, now that sounds like an interesting film. Does it have egg pong in it?
I don't think so. You promised you wouldn't mention the egg bong.
Shit. Sorry.
Jarrod.
All right. No, we're wrapping it up now. Come on. Well, I hope you've enjoyed listening to us tonight. We are Nerd Subculture. My name is Jarrod.
And I'm Edwina.
And if you like what I hear and want to find us on the internet, what do, Eddie?
Well, you could find us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. There is a Facebook group, and you can email us at nerdsubculture@gmail.com. And if you want to help out the podcast, please follow the link tree on the socials to our merch store.
Yes, so like, share, subscribe, and all those other great things. So till next time, take care. Bye.
Bye.